A native of Illinois, Mitch Bender received his undergraduate degree from the University of Illinois and his master's degree from Vandercook College of Music. After serving as staff arranger for the 8th Army Band in Korea, he began his 30-year career as a school band director in Illinois, Indiana, and Virginia. A published composer since 1973, he has also served as guest conductor, adjudicator, and clinician at numerous state conferences. We close our performance this evening utilizing the talents of Dartmouth's chamber singers under the direction of Robert Duff and the gospel choir under the direction of Walter Cunningham. Tonight's bass soloist will be Uslan Gemal, Dartmouth class of '08. The words of Martin Luther King, Jr. will be spoken by Dartmouth Professor William Cook. Max Culpepper and the Dartmouth Wind Symphony are proud to present Mitch Bender's I Have a Dream.
50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negroes who had been seared in the fires of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of captivity. But 100 years later, we must face the tragic fact that the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself an exile in his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize an appalling condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash a check. For the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. They were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men would be granted that unalienable right of life, of liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we have come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. Oh, yes, Lord. Sometimes I'm almost to the ground. Oh, yes, Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble